We're back in, folks. We are back in from the break to the action here on the hottest show on the streets, number one form for Crimson Tide football news in my own words with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciating everybody for tuning in to the show on today. And be sure to give a thumbs up. Be sure to give a thumbs up, give a like on the show, hit that subscribe button, and turn all of those notifications on so that way you can have the best of news, notes, and analysis on your Crimson Tide. But now, we look at the new leader, the new frontrunner, the new face of the 2020 Heisman Trophy race. No, it's not Trevor Lawrence, it's Mac Jones! Mac Jones of Alabama, the new top candidate here for the Heisman Trophy race for this season right now. And an article came up today, according to ESPN, that Mac Jones has become the new leader here in the Heisman, especially according to a couple of betting sports books out there. When you talk DraftKings and FanDuel, Mac Jones ahead in DraftKings, and then Mac Jones along with Justin Fields of Ohio State are like co-leaders in the FanDuel side. But Mac Jones, new leader here in the Heisman Trophy race. And what impresses me the most about Mac is his mental toughness. And there are moments where he may go through some frustration. He'll battle some frustration. There are moments, of course, where Alabama's offense may not come out of the gate hitting on all cylinders the way it needs to. But Mac always finds a way to put the frustration behind him, shrug it off, not let it get to him, and continue to lead, guide, and pace this team, so to speak. I go back to, remember the Texas A&M game where he had an interception in that game, could have let it got to him, did not let it get to him, picked himself back up, kept playing ball, had over 400 yards passing in that matchup with 4 touchdowns. And then there was the matchup against Georgia where pressure got to him. One of the offensive linemen did not pick up a blitz assignment, and Mac Jones gets hit as he's throwing the ball. I still don't think Richard LeCounte made the interception on the play, but it was recorded as an interception. Jones did not let that get to him. He shrugged it off, went back out there, threw for 417 yards, 4 touchdowns to knock off what was at that point the number one defense in college football. And then, of course, against Tennessee, 2 weeks ago, first play of the game, Jalen Waddle gets hurt. Anybody else would probably hit the tank when one of your electrifying receivers gets hurt, not Mac Jones. He gets everybody together, goes out there on the field. I think he was 25 for 31 passing for 387 yards, almost another 400-yard day, and Alabama won the football game. And even on last week, Jones was a little bit off throwing the ball. I got from a couple of close sources of mine, with the team deep inside the program here, that the issue with Mac, it wasn't anything mental in the game. It was he suffered a slight ankle bruise in practice. Had a slight ankle bruise in practice that week and decided to go on that ankle. So you see kind of the warrior mentality there of a Jones, just how he was not able to really push on his throws and get into his throws the way he normally does, and that was because he had the ankle bruise there, but decided to still play on it, still go out there, push through it, battle things out. And you've got some NFL quarterbacks out there that if they are not on the same page with their wide receivers early on, they get into a mental funk, and it's hard to pull them out of it. You got some NFL quarterbacks out there that when they get hit with pressure, they get sacked, they get harassed, they go into a mental zone, a bad mental zone, and they can't pull themselves out of it. You got NFL quarterbacks that they lose their best receiver, they go into a zone, a bad one, and they can't get out of it. So the mental toughness that Mac Jones has to, no matter what goes on negatively, I can find a way to shrug it off, throw it off, get back out there, and play big-time football. If I'm an NFL scout, if I'm a coach, if I'm an owner, if I'm a general manager, those are some of the boxes that I'm looking at in terms of drafting a quarterback. Of course, everybody goes, well, we want the big-time talent. Trevor Lawrence is a big-time talent. Justin Fields is a big-time talent. The kid from North Dakota State, Trey Lance, is a big-time talent. That's what we want. We want the big-time talent. And I understand. And it's great to have big-time talent. But at the same time, you want to have that talent that's also got the mental toughness that can deal with everything being thrown at them. Some guys have the talent, but no mental toughness. For example, I mean, you look at Baker Mayfield right now. Baker Mayfield had the talent coming out of Oklahoma. Yes, he did. And Lincoln Riley had him in an offense that was successful. Oh, yes, he did. But Baker Mayfield in the NFL, if something goes bad, if something goes awry, Baker Mayfield goes into a mental funk, and it's a hard time getting him out of it. You look at Sam Darnold, the same thing. Sam Darnold was a big talent at USC. Yes, he was. But now with the Jets, you get him in a situation where he doesn't have his best receiver, or he gets hit under pressure, or he makes a bad read, or he makes a bad play. His mind gets lost, and you're having some weeks trying to place, okay, where is Sam Darnold? So there are some NFL quarterbacks right now that when things do not go their way all the time, their mind goes off in the left field, and it's a devil of a time trying to get them reeled back in. So to have a guy like Mac Jones, too, it doesn't really matter what happens. He finds a way to play through it, to play through the pain of a bruised knee, or to play through the pain and the frustration of not having Jalen Waddle out there, or to play through the frustration of, getting hit and having to get back up and still go. For him to have that mental fortitude, that mental toughness that Coach Saban talks about on a continuous, consistent basis. If I'm an NFL scout, if I'm an owner, if I'm a GM, if I'm a coach, here's a guy I'm circling, what round can we get this Mac Jones kid in? He's first-round talent. What am I talking about him? I mean, he's first-round talent. So that would be a guy, just me speaking here. If I was operating the team, that would be a guy that I would look at where my scouts are concerned. Get me some information on Mac Jones. Get me some intel on Mac Jones. Get me the 411 on Mac Jones. What makes this dude tick? Because I'm watching him get hit. I'm watching him, lose an electrifying receiver. I'm watching him go through, some frustrations at times, but it doesn't get to him. He's still out there whipping the football. He's still out there making plays. And when you talk about the NFL, a league where people get paid top dollar to halfway kill you, and he's still getting up, doing his job, get me the 411 there on Mac Jones. But that's just me if I was a GM, scout, coach, anything of that vicinity, anything of that nature. But he is right now the new leader here of the Heisman Trophy race. Jones against the Bulldogs, 24 of 31 passing for 291 yards, 4 touchdowns, no turnovers. This season so far, through 6 games, he's completed 78.5% of his throws. That is first in the SEC and 4th in all of college football. He's got 2,196 passing yards. That's first in the SEC and 3rd in college football. 16 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's got a passer rating of 210.32. That is first in the SEC and 3rd in all of college football. He's averaging 366 passing yards per game. That's first in the SEC and 3rd in college football. And of course, his QBR, whether it's a 95.5 total quarterback rating, which is the adjusted quarterback rating, of a 93, quarterback rating, which is the raw rating. He's first in the SEC in both categories and 2nd in college football. So you can see the young man is having an incredible year. You put his numbers against Joe Burrows from last year through the first 6 games of the SEC. Mac's got the better numbers there. Same thing when you look at Trevor Lawrence. You compare him to Mac Jones's numbers through the first 6 games. Through the first 6 games, Mac's got some higher numbers there than Trevor Lawrence does. And what's crazy is the fact that you have so many people who are shocked right now by how well Mac is performing. They're shocked right now. Me, not shocked at all, because when he took over for Tua Tagovailoa last year, of course he came in, had some nerves there, and we all would have nerves if you're asked to come in to replace one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in the program in Tua. Tua goes down with the ankle first against Tennessee, and then the hip there against Mississippi State. But, Mac played well against Arkansas last year, played well against Auburn last year, played well against Michigan in the Citrus Bowl to end the 2019 season. And to come in this year, a lot of people felt like, well, he's not going to be able to do it. He can't be what Tua was. He doesn't give that type of a same spark. And to see him defy all the expectations that were placed upon him, and see him defy all the naysayers, all the critics, all the doubters, they're just in utter shock, disbelief. They are dumbfounded right now. You got a lot of dumbfounded critics with their mouths wide open right now, because they cannot believe for the life of them that Mac Jones is performing the way he is. And like I mentioned, battle-tested guy, leading the Heisman race right now. I'm proud of him. And if I was an NFL GM, scout, owner, this would be a guy that I would look at here in terms of the 2021 draft as a first rounder, because he's got that mental fortitude, that mental toughness, that ability to not get fazed, not get rattled, not dwell on negative stuff when it happens, just continue to push forward and lead his football team. But we take a break here on the show. Don't touch that dial, because upon our return, we continue with your phone calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your texts, your super chats. Let's have a conversation on the other side of the break after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.